Okay, exercise 6224. We have three routers in our topology, and what we're going to be doing is basically manually entering several networks with their IP addresses. I went ahead and circled the 5 networks of interest that we have here. Also, we're given the addressing table as usual. So I highlighted the important numbers in it, especially for the 3 routers which we're looking at. So configuring routes means entering their IP addresses manually. We have just reviewed the security and the importance of and the need for static routes. So we're going to do the actual number punching, so to say, in the packet tracer right now. Once again, these are the very reliable routes which do not change. That's why they are manually entered. So we have the routers we need to work on. Each router has a LAN attached to it. On R1, we have this LAN, S1 and PC1. On R2, it's S2 and PC2. And on the third router, we have S3 and PC3. So we have just looked at the LANs here, and what we have is 2 WAN wide area network connections here. So router 1 has 2 networks attached to it. Router 2 has 2 WAN connections in the LAN, and router 3 has 1 WAN connection and 1 LAN connection. So router 3 and router 1 are directly connected to router 2 here. So in total we have 5 networks to work with. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So once again, 2 networks are directly connected to router 1. The LAN and the WAN, which is circled in blue. So 2 direct connections on router 1. We have 3 direct connections on router 2 and 2 direct connections on router 3. Once again, we have 5 networks. So the directly connected networks are known by the interfaces. What they do need to know, and that's where the manual entry is required, is how to get to the LANs which are not directly connected. So for example, router 1 needs to know how to get to the LAN which consists of PC2 and switch 2. And the same here, the LAN which consists of PC3 and S3. So for router 1, we'll need to enter 1 static route to here, then the LAN S2 PC2, the WAN between the routers 2 and 3, and the third LAN, which is S3 and PC3. Router 2 needs 2 networks entered, the one which consists of S1 and PC1 and S3 and PC3. And as usual, we'll be talking about the difference between /25 and /26, so I will ask you right now what we make of it. So R2, router 2 needs to know these 2 networks, and router 3 will need 3 networks entered, PC2, S2, the WAN between router 2 and router 1, which is /30, and the LAN S1 PC1. Next, what we need to do is to test the connectivity, which you'll know very well how to do, between PC2, PC3, and PC1 by issuing the ping command on PC1. I'll pause here and let you do it because we do it every day. You definitely know what to do here. Just a little reminder what we have here for addresses, and I always say that you can copy it and save yourself some time by doing this. So destination unreachable, and you should get the same results for PC3. And next is the command I've been talking with you about for the past couple of days, and that's the one which you will need to know in addition to the MAC address command, the command which displays the MAC address table on router 1. We're going to see what route and table it has right now. So it's enable, then show IP root. Okay, I went ahead and made the font smaller so we can read this easier. But basically, you see what routes are directly connected to the router 1 right here. So all you need to remember for this is the route and table we're looking at, is this command. Okay, show IP route. So you see these two networks are not there in the table. That's why we cannot ping them. So to get to these PCs, we're going to create static routes, and that's basically the thinking behind the whole exercise. We'll manually enter the addresses of the routes to which the ping has to go. Okay, so we're going to manually enter the routes. The recursive route is the one which doesn't have the interface specified in it. So to get to the LAN which is attached to router 2, this one, we need to get onto the WAN with this address. Configure terminal, and here's the spec, and I'll pause here so you can enter it. So we have the full LAN address and the first part of the WAN. So we're entering 3 networks on router 1, so we'll do the same for the other 2 routes. Yeah, not a good window, not a good size window. So okay, let me pause here. Okay, let's run this important command again, and we need to exit the config mode to type in show IP route. So okay, show IP route. So we now have the static route that we have entered and the serial interface by which it can be reached over here. So we're getting to PC2 by way of the serial port here. Okay, let me get out here and try to hover over this. It takes a while. Okay. The gigabit popped, but not. See this showing? Serial is still resisting. Just to save time, I'm going to stop here because we need to move on. So we have just configured one static route which will allow us to get to PC2. Now we need to enter the IP addresses for the static route which will allow us to get to PC3. Yeah, actually we just did all this. So we have all 3 routes already specified for router 1, because here's this other static route. This one and this one. Okay, so we're done with router 1. So actually, not to forget about this again, what we need to do actually enter a better version of the show command, which I will not ask you to do on the final, but it's going to be shown right now. Okay, show IP route static. Now, okay, that will definitely show what we already have. So we don't have to go up and down the routing table. These are the static routes which we have entered, and we now know the specifications for all the 3 out of 5 networks we're talking about on router R1. It's also showing the administrative distance, which we're not gonna talk about right now because we talked previously for the OSPF protocol. That number was different. If you remember, it was 110. That was default for OSPF, which is not at play here. IGRP is, but right now we need to concentrate on this command. Okay, next we're looking at R2. It knows, of course, how to get to its own LAN, but it needs to know how to get to the LAN attached to R1, PC1, S1, and the LAN attached to R3. Okay, but this time we're not going to be entering for the purposes of exercise, not entering the fully specified route. Instead, we'll just show which interface to use to get to the LAN that we are interested in, which in this case is this one, 172.3.1.1.0. Okay, let's stretch this. We now have the command finished. Yeah, we have the standard message here. That's because we entered the interface instead of the fully specified route. And we do the same for this one, 3.1.1.2.8. We're done with R2, and for R3 we need to enter the command which will allow it to reach every network not directly connected, and that will be any means all. That will be the command which has all zeros, that tells the iOS that this is for everything that you can find. Okay, obviously we have this directly connected on the serial port. Now, if you do the ping commands, which I will let you do, I'll stop the video and you know how to do it, you will see that all the networks are now reachable.